You've been rolling around, shouldn't roll it up. Let her roll it up. Break it down like a punch, she would never us. She would never us. That's the real on the real, are you serious? How you feel, how you feel? Used to trip off that shit I was kicking to you. Had some fun on the round, though I'll give it to you. But baby,
what is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe?
So about a year ago, my car, I was driving it and it broke down. So I pulled into an empty parking lot. And at the time, my roommate at the time came and to help me, but we got into a fight and she left. So it was like around like 3 a.m. and I kept walking until I could find help. And I came across this white guy and he was playing Mac Miller and he told me like, hey, I can help you find help. And I was like, okay, bet. So we walked. And then at one point, like, we're walking, and then I just remember feeling, like, this feeling of, like, complete euphoria, and he just told me, like, lay down. So I laid down, and I woke up. And, like, I was covered in bruises and blood and all this stuff. And when I walked to the hospital, they told me that I had been missing for 3 days. And I could have sworn that that experience happened all in, like, a span of, like, 2.5 hours. But it was on the news. I was reported missing. Yeah.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
Okay, so if you know my parents, don't call them out, don't text them, don't tell them I told anyone. But in 4th grade, I had excruciating pain to the point I couldn't sleep. It was like a burning and aching. I could barely walk on it sometimes. It was so painful. I told my parents, and my mom didn't really believe me because obviously I was that child that always wanted to have popsicle sticks on her hand to have an injury, to have attention, whatever. She took me to the doctor. The pediatrician told me it was just growing pains, nothing, no big deal. 2 years later, my pediatrician goes on vacation. It also happens to be the time when my class goes on a hike. I woke up the next morning and could not walk at all. No matter how hard I tried, I could not put any pressure on my leg without it just collapsing. I'm going to need to do a part 2.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you? I'll go first.
When I hit 8 years old, I kept telling my parents, I can't smell, I can't smell. I have no sense of smell. I can't smell. My mom proceeded to tell everyone that I was lying and that I was making it up because I wanted attention. And so finally I'm getting a physical done. Again, I'm 8 years old, and the doctor's like, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? And I'm like, I have no sense of smell. My doctor's like, what? My mom's sitting over here don't listen to her, she just wants attention. My doctor's like, yeah, well, it can't hurt to check. I proceeded to go to said specialist, get a microscope shoved up my fucking nose, and then watch as he told my mother that she's not lying. She's never been able to smell.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
You can retire at 30 if you want, but the way that we're taught to think about money makes that virtually impossible. Here's why. What we're typically taught is to go to school, get a job, put money into retirement, save up, and hopefully retire at 50, 60, 70 years old. And what makes it even worse is that most of us are told that we gotta live it up in our 20s. The time to spend money, rent, look good, buy the fancy stuff, maybe even buy your dream house. That's probably the worst advice ever, if you care about money and financial freedom. And that's because every dollar you invest now, or while you're in your 20s, is worth so much more later on. What I think makes way more sense than that is doing a little bit of sacrifice on the front end, let's say from years 22 to 27, and then you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. So instead of 40 hard years and then 10 for retirement, 5 hard years and then maybe 50 for retirement. Which do you want?
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
So when I was 7 years old, I was at my cousin's house, and sometimes we would like to put the what is it called, the sprinkler underneath the trampoline, and we would jump. And so I was doing that with my cousins, and they were like, come inside, dinner's done. So I'm still in my bathing suit. I jump off of the trampoline, and I go up to the door, and this fucking thing, like something flew in my ear and it was stuck there, and I just had buzzing all night in my ear for like almost 2 weeks. And I came home and I told my mom, and she like didn't believe me. And okay, there's gonna be like a part 2.
Something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you.
When it comes to Broadway, it's not about how good you are, it's about how fast you are. It's not about who's most talented, it's about who's the quickest at retaining new information. At a dance call, they're not looking to see if you could nail that pirouette or that cooter slam. Looking to see how quick of a learner you are, to see how quickly they could put you at a show. It's a very important concept. The same way for digital creation. Short form, reliable, consistent content every day, or masterpieces that take a long time to color correct and edit. Being good is what will make your career last, but being quick is what is going to get you in the door. And if you are one of those artists that makes higher quality, longer form content in any medium, remember that the haptic feedback of your progression is going to look like this, not like this. It's a different rhythm. It's how great artists give up. We forget that we were brainwashed into thinking that art was about how good it was, how deep. And that's actually my jam. Living in a digital time like no other. Theater school is really great at teaching us how to star in shows, not necessarily how to book them though. It isn't to perform, it's to learn how to get in the door so you can tell your stories.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
When I was in college, I was constantly telling people that I couldn't breathe, that I felt like I couldn't take a deep breath or get enough air. And that went on for quite a while. And then one day I was at the grocery store and I felt like I was having a heart attack. So I called 911 and the paramedics got there and they didn't believe me. They said I was just having an anxiety attack because I was too young. There was no way I was having a heart attack. And I still couldn't breathe and I was freaking out and I was having anxiety at that point. But come to find out, after they refused to take me to the hospital, I went to the doctors on my own time and I had a collapsed lung. So I couldn't breathe.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
That almost everyone can make passive income online as long as they have a phone and access to Wi-Fi. And the method I'm talking about is called affiliate marketing. It will benefit your audience, yourself, as well as the company that you affiliate for. I started about a month and a half ago, and now I'm making more than what I usually make at a 9-to-5. So basically, you're gonna pick the product that you love and would suggest other people to use. Then you're gonna sign up for the product's affiliate program. You will receive a link that's just for you. Then all you need to do is to drive traffic to your link. And once someone buys something from your link, you will receive a % commission. And since you already love the product and have used it, you're able to provide genuine feedbacks on the product for your audiences. And the cost of it is really low. You only need 1 to 2 hours a day, and you can use TikTok to drive free traffic to your link.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
Yo, nobody fucking believes me when I tell them this. But check me out. Repressed emotions cause fucking physical illness. Things that doctors literally have no cures for. I mean, they could probably like give you medication, physical therapy, but shit like fibromyalgia, chronic back pain, things like IBS, what else? Just like a lot of shit that's fucking chronic. Even depression, fucking anxiety. Man, sometimes I heard like repressed emotions can cause you to go bipolar. But what you don't know, and doctors can't really say because there's no way of proving it, is that you can heal from these horrifying conditions as soon as you start addressing those repressed emotions. Remember, the mind feels safe, the body follows.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you?
That there really is an afterlife. Mediumship is real. We really do go on beyond this physical reality. This is just one of many, many realities. There's no one religion that has it all correct. And you don't need to go through one religion to get into the afterlife. And whether or not you believe in any religion or in an afterlife or not, surprise, it's gonna happen anyway. I've had lots of souls come through readings that are very evidential, that never believed in anything religious, and those who come through that were incredibly religious and are surprised to be able to come through a medium. And what we do here does matter. How we interact with one another matters. How we live our life matters.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you? I'll go first.
Fucking demons. Demons. They are so real, and it's not what everybody thinks it is. Because of Hollywood and all that, we all think demons are like gonna possess you and they're these big scary shadows, and it can be that, but demons are sneaky and they're fucking smart and they're tricky. Just because you're not being haunted at night doesn't mean you don't have demons. They just suck the energy out of you, they drain you, they put you in a low vibration, and then they trick you into making low vibrational choices. Sometimes the point of a demon isn't to torture you, it's to keep you in like a super low state so that they can feed off of you. So it could be like you thinking that you suck, you can't accomplish anything, oh, I'm just gonna lay in bed today instead of doing anything productive. Demons, bro. And they also make it inconvenient for you to do better. You always gotta stay one step ahead.
What is something important that you've told someone but they refuse to believe you? I'll go first. When I was a kid, like maybe around the age of 5, I was at the doctor's office. My mom was not in the office with me. I don't know why. I don't really know why, but I remember that she was not there. And so the doctor is telling me, he's like, you need to relay this information to your mom. You need to let her know because it's very important. And I'm like, okay, this is super important. I will let her know. So when we are leaving the hospital and we're in the hallway and I'm talking to her, I'm like, hey, the doctor told me to tell you something super important. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, he said that I either have short-term memory loss or long-term memory loss, but I don't remember which one. And to this day, she will not believe me.
This bitch gonna make me.